Hi, I'm Anna, or Anna G Writes and Reads. Welcome to my February Readathon. It is the last weekend in February, and I am excited to see what I can do to my physical TBR that happened to grow quite a bit this month, take you on some other activities that I didn't get to take you on for the other Readathon. The most straightforward part of my Readathon are the audiobooks. I want to finish Charm by Tracy Wolff, move on to Mirror's Edge, which is the third book in the Imposter series by Scott Westerfeld. This is like a set in the future from the Ugly series that he's written, and I really enjoyed the first two, so I'm excited to be able to listen to the third. And if I have time, I'm gonna get to an audiobook arc, which I am really excited about. In terms of physical books, I'm currently reading By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. This is the second in the Meant to Be series. The first book was If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, and that was a modern day Cinderella retelling. This is a modern day Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm about a third of the way through it. I'm on page 117 because I wanted to read this last night. This is actually the third book on my pre-planned TBR of 4 books, so this has been a little crazy of a reading month. I did 2 buddy reads this month, and one of those buddy reads was starting the Magnolia Park series. My friend and I finished that in a day, so I went ahead and ordered the next 2 with the remaining credits that I had this month. I'm gonna reach out to my friend to see if we're buddy reading these this weekend. If we end up not buddy reading those, I do have a backup list of books. The first one is I Fell in Love with Hope, which was my last official book on this month's TBR. I don't know if I'll get to it because, like I said, I got kind of derailed by reading 2 other physical books this month as buddy reads. Then we have The Girl with the Louding Voice. I feel like this will be different than what I've been reading this month, which has been a lot of fantasy and whatnot, so I think this will be a nice departure from that. And then lastly, we have The American Roommate Experiment. Again, I don't know if I'm going to get to any of those books or if I'm just going to be buddy reading. This is the second book in the Magnolia Park series, which I might start reading in the next few minutes after I reach out to my buddy. And then Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home is the third book in the series. My friend Amy and I finished the first one, like I said, in a day, and it was 500 pages. Would not be surprised if we were able to get both of these done this weekend with our buddy reading speed, but I just have to check in with her. Just like last month, I'm at the point where By the Book is my 5th physical book that I'm reading. So every physical book I read in this book is a book buying credit, and I used all of my book buying credits from last month, so I definitely want to get more. I'm not sure how much time exactly this readathon's gonna be. My goal is always 24 hours with any of my readathons that I'll do this year, but I have a hair appointment and we still have 1 bowling event left. I think that'll take less time away than what we did last month. And then I know in March I'm gonna do my readathon a week early because I'll be busy that last weekend of March. I'm excited to see where this readathon's gonna go, and I better check in with Amy to see what exactly I'll be reading. My friend Amy's not gonna be able to buddy read with me until tomorrow, so we're gonna read By the Book tonight and hopefully we'll finish it. Okay, we're gonna start the timer and get going. Okay, I'm about to finish By the Book. I did tear up. No tears fell, but it was very close. I love Jasmine Guillory's writing so much. All of her books I think are fantastic. And there's an epilogue in this one, and I was like, oh, I'm getting close to the end. But Jasmine's writing usually ties up all the loose ends for me, so I'm really happy that this one does too. So yeah, I'm like 2 pages away from the end, so this one's almost pretty much done. And I just realized my timer hasn't been going for I don't know how long. That's really fun. So I think what I'm gonna do to fix the time, because I know I've been sitting here reading this for a while, so I think what I'll do is probably just run it we'll just add like an hour, maybe a half an hour on top of that time, because I've been reading so much of it. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. To get us a more accurate read, because I think I'm closer to 3-ish hours now of how much we've been reading, but I also could be wrong. So, but it's okay. Time to get to this epilogue. By the Book, we're officially done with. 5 out of 5 stars for me. I love Jasmine Guillory's writing. No book of hers has ever been rated under a 4, and this was just so perfect. Grumpy Sunshine, obviously, one of my favorite tropes. It was such a fast-paced read. I loved their connection. I loved the callbacks to Disney. I thought it was really cute. And I really loved the book. I did almost cry. So in terms of timing, I think what I'm going to do to get the time right is I plan to ride on the Peloton tomorrow morning. So I'll just leave the timer going on the Peloton since I know I'm not reading then, but then that'll make up for the time. that I wasn't recording, and I'm just letting it run now as I talk because, like I said, I am probably at about the 3-ish hour mark in terms of reading. And now I'm going to switch to my audiobook Charm because I have laundry and I want to make a snack. However, once I finish, I do want to try and read a little bit of I Fell in Love with Hope because I'm really interested in that. And actually, this is kind of silly, but I have a TikTok that's been like consistently doing well for a bit, and the author of I Fell in Love with Hope actually just liked one of my TikToks. It's such a silly little like fangirl moment, but I thought it was really cute. I definitely want to like finally dig into her book. I listened to about an hour of Charm, did some chores. Charm is the 5th book in the Crave series. I still think that Court was supposed to be the last one. Like, I feel like this 5th one was definitely like added in kind of late. That's just my opinion. But Charm is supposed to take place between Crave and Crush, so the 1st and 2nd book, but she placed it at the 5th book. I think because the realm that they're going to be in for the 6th book is in the 5th book. So it's a little, a little confusing to follow along unless you're used to reading fantasy series like that. But I think for the rest of the night, I'm gonna read I Fell in Love with Hope, give this a little shot, and see where we go from here. I've heard that this is, like a pretty sad book. I'm not a big sad book girly, but I think it's good to read outside of your genre every once in a while so that not everything seems so repetitive. So I'm really excited to read this, and because it's by a self-published author. So definitely want to support those indie authors. Okay, so I've read the first 2 chapters of I Fell in Love with Hope. I was a little confused on the narrator at first, but I read the back of the book and now it's cleared up, which is good. I am at 3 hours, 43 minutes, but again, adding about a half hour to that because I know it wasn't recording. Yeah, like 4 hours and 15 minutes, which is pretty good. I know my last readathon, Saturday, was like the big day of reading for me, but with a hair appointment, I know that won't be possible. So I'm interested to see how far I get tomorrow. And I'm really excited to start buddy reading. And the last time that I buddy read with Amy, whenever we take breaks, I would go back to my other book. So that's probably what I'm going to do with I Fell in Love with Hope. It's a pretty thick read. I feel like I knew that going in, but I never really know until I start, like reading the word. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The back of this book gives me the vibes of The First to Die at the end, where it's like, the ending, the inevitable is coming. Because I think everyone in this book has some type of chronic illness or some autoimmune disease, something where death is inevitable. Not as, speculative as Deathcast is in The First to Die at the end, but a little closer to home. So it'll be interesting to see how the characters develop. We're following like 5 characters right now, so I'm just curious if we're going to see all of them pass, if it's only going to be a few of them, what that's going to look like. So I'm gonna go to sleep and we'll continue this tomorrow. All right, it is Saturday morning, bright and early, around 6:30. We got our dogs up and about with us. I am probably gonna listen to my audiobook for a little bit and then switch to I Fell in Love with Hope. I also have to message Amy. I think I'm going to message her around 7-ish and see if she's ready to buddy read. I still want to exercise, but I woke up really headachy today. And so sometimes instead of like working out on a completely empty stomach, if I have a headache, I like to just like wait a little bit. So I will be making up that time when I didn't record my reading time yesterday while I Peloton today. So but yeah, we're still listening to Charm, still going strong. And I'm excited to either start the Daisy Hates books today or continue reading I Fell in Love with Hope. I feel like I have a really good lineup for this readathon, so let's get started. Okay, I'm on page 72 of I Fell in Love with Hope. I didn't know, and this is how I usually read books. I don't know a lot about them going in. I usually just go based off of vibes, how I feel about the cover, things like that. This is definitely more character driven than plot driven, which I'm trying to get myself to read more of because I usually rely on like a big overarching plot to really dig into a book, but this is more character driven. It's going okay so far. The narrator, I'm a little confused on. I wish I had more details about the narrator, but I think that's kind of the point to not have as many details on the narrator. So I just got a Snapchat from Amy and I'm gonna start reading this one, which I'm really excited about. All right, I did my little bike ride, We're at 6 hours and 39 minutes. I am like 70, 80 pages into Daisy's story, and I'm really liking it. The problem is I have a terrible headache, and I still have to go get my hair done today, which, you know, sometimes that makes the headache worse, but I think it'll make me feel better overall because I really want to get my hair done. So I'm making a little snack and we're gonna keep reading, hopefully. Might be more audiobooks just so I can shut my eyes and sit in the dark for a little bit, because sometimes that's what I do when I have really bad headaches, is I'll just sit in the dark, listen to an audiobook, and it's a great time. We'll see what happens. My hair appointment's in 3 hours. Hopefully I'm feeling better by then. Thanks to my little migraine nap, I finished Charm, and now we're moving on to Mirror's Edge, which Charm, there obviously are spoilers for the rest of the series. Definitely the epilogue of the book is. I think it would be interesting if I ever did a reread of the whole Crave series to put Charm second, where it actually belongs in the chronological order, because between Crave and Crush is where there's that 4-month gap that Charm is all about. So it'd be really interesting to read it from that perspective and then reread the other 4 books knowing what you know from Charm. So I don't know, that might be I know people do a bunch of different reading orders or tandem reads or whatever. So that might be something interesting one day. The headache is still great for me. I did talk to my buddy reader Amy. I'm going to be bringing this book with me to the hair salon. Hopefully no one looks too closely at the cover. And I'm going to probably get some reading in while my hair is processing. So let's go. Okay, we are done with our hair appointment. Read about 30-ish minutes there. So we're at 9 hours and 35 minutes. I am really liking Daisy Hates. I don't know how to say the last name. Better look that up. I'm really digging this. I have to check in with Amy because I think she started reading for our buddy read, and my headache is almost gone, which is good. So hopefully I'm just gonna be able to read this book the rest of the night. So we're gonna continue reading Daisy Hates because I just talked to Amy and I'm super excited to keep going. I'm not that far into it, so I'm interested to see where I'm going to be by the end of the night. I'm on page 103 as of right now, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so we are 12 hours and 18 minutes in. I think I'm a little behind where I was for the February readathon. I don't know, I'm going to have to go back and look, but I am enjoying the Daisy Hates books. I'm on page 241 now, so we're this far in. I feel like this is taking me longer to read than the first book. So with Magnolia Parks, which is the first book in the Magnolia Parks universe, we're following mainly one storyline, and in this book we're following 3. So it's a lot more exciting. Every time the POV switches, I have to remember what happened before, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just slowing down my progress. And I haven't really listened to Imposters at all, but I plan to tomorrow because we're going to be driving. There is a bowling event. I'm hoping I can still make 24 hours this weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to. I think I'm going to get pretty close. I think it depends on how long bowling will take tomorrow. My goal for tonight is to get to 15, but again, with my headache, kind of pushed me back. If you are interested in these, the Magnolia Parks and the second book is Daisy Hates, it's contemporary high society. The second one follows more gangs and stuff like that, and it's just following different folks' love stories between the 2 books and their relationships and whatnot. So I really like them, but yeah, this one's just taking me longer, and like I said, I have a little bit of a headache, so I'm hoping to still get to 24 hours with this readathon. I'm still happy because I finished 2 books this weekend. Don't know how many more I'll finish. We are going to see. So I am all set with my snacks, and I'll update you at the end of the night where I end up with hours read. All right, I ended on chapter 63 of Daisy Hates. I'm really loving it, but my eyes are starting to kind of shut when I read it. So I'm going to switch to Imposters for a bit. I'm at 13 hours and 57 minutes. I don't know if I'll do an update after Imposters because I think I might just turn off the lights and listen to it for a little bit, but I will update you with the time in the morning. Okay, so it's the next day. I did listen to some of my audiobook last night, so we're at 14 and a half hours. I want to read a little bit before we have to go to bowling. The dogs just wanted to say hi. I am on chapter 63 of Daisy Hates, which is getting kind of close to the end. So I am definitely going to read that while I have my breakfast, and then we'll get ready and go to bowling and listen to the audiobook in the car and hopefully rack up some hours. Okay, we are back from bowling. I am at 16 hours and 45 minutes. I'm really trying to get to 24 hours with this readathon. I'm cutting it close. I'm going to jump back into reading Daisy Hates. I'm listening to Mirror's Edge right now by Scott Westerfeld, which is the third in the Imposter series. And it started off, I think, different than usually how Scott writes, because there was a lot more jumps in time. And I know Scott jumps memories a lot, but not necessarily like time. So that was an interesting way to start. But now I'm really getting into it, now that we're on like the main mission of the story and the main purpose. So that's really exciting. And I'm excited to finish up Daisy Hates. And I talked to my buddy reader and she said that we can just go ahead and start the next Magnolia Parks book whenever we're done. So I'm excited to be able to keep reading the series because I'm really enjoying it. Okay, I just finished Daisy's book and I really liked it. It was slower, but it definitely picks up at the end. And I am excited to have the third one already in my hands. I think I'm going to start it in a little bit. I kind of want to read at the same time that my buddy is reading. So I think I'm going to listen to Mirror's Edge for a bit and then switch into Magnolia Parks A Long Way Home, I think is what it's called, or The Long Way Home. I'll have to check once I physically go and grab the book, but I'm excited because we're 2 physical books down and 1 audiobook down. Alrighty, so I listened to more of Mirror's Edge. I'm really enjoying it. Now I'm officially going to start Magnolia The Long Way Home, which I am super excited about. Alrighty, so we reached 24 hours for the February readathon. I got almost 100 pages into Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home. This is, I feel like, a lot more heart-wrenching than the other 2. I feel like I don't know if it's because it's the 3rd book and we know the characters, but this is definitely pulling on my heartstrings more than the other books. And then I am an hour away from being done with Mirror's Edge. And this happens every time I listen to a Scott Westerfeld book. It just goes by so fast and I really enjoy it. So we'll do a little final wrap up in the next clip of February's readathon. Okay, so these are the 2 physical books that I finished. By the Book by Jasmine Guillory and Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. And I also finished Charm by Tracy Wolff. I finished Imposters this morning. It's Monday the next day, so not technically part of the readathon, but I was going to say I still had to finish Imposters, but I've already finished it, and I am in the middle of Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, and I am still reading I Fell in Love with Hope. Yeah, I have 2 book buying credits, and I've actually already spent 1 of them. So I have 1 book buying credit for the month of February, which I'm hoping to improve next month. So thanks for watching, and if you have any suggestions of other activities to do during a readathon, let me know.